Hello, Scott Baker here for Truth and Liberty, bringing a quick recap of the 2026 RPT Convention. Wanted to talk about the attendance. There were approximately 4,000 delegates in attendance. We have a new chairman and vice chair that have been elected. We have new legislative priorities that have been decided. Got some minor updates to the rules and the platform. Lots of talk about closed primaries. And the governor, lieutenant governor, and the House Speaker call for unity for November. Let's start with the turnout. About 4,000 delegates in attendance. The roll call vote that I took note of was 4,280 delegates in attendance out of a possible 8,762. That's less than half of our delegate allocation, which is very low turnout. 2 years ago, for reference, we had 8,000 delegates, almost 9,000. And 2 years before that, I believe we had approximately 9,000 as well. Here's a picture of our delegation on one of the days. There's actually quite a few seats that are empty, and that was common throughout the room. There were hundreds of seats left empty. Here's the SD4 delegation. There's a few more people not in the picture, but this is largely our delegation. Montgomery County SD4 was allowed approximately 250 delegates. We filled up all 250 at the SD convention with only a handful of alternates. Only about 150 showed up to the convention. In past years, especially before COVID, we would actually have our entire list of delegates filled out as well as all of our alternates filled out. So we are down significantly from past conventions. I think that's a sign of a few things. Remember, we have 470,000 registered voters in Montgomery County, and 80,000 people voted in the Republican Party primary just this year. So, for reference, there's 2.3 million Republicans in the state of Texas that vote in the primary elections. 4,280 is approximately 0.2%. So less than 1% of Republicans in the state of Texas showed up and were making decisions on your behalf. We have a new chairman. Dorinda Randall was elected as the new chairman of the RPT. Here's a picture of her. David Covey was elected as her vice chair. Randall won overwhelmingly with approximately 80% of the vote. Outgoing Chairman Abraham George was widely criticized around the room. At one point, he even just stepped down after it was clear he was going to lose. He did continue to chair the convention. One of the main criticisms with the party is being run poorly, and the convention was especially being run poorly. With the low turnout, very poor organization, a lot of people did not know when votes were happening or what was happening in which session. It was very poorly run from my perspective. There's also indication that the party finances are not good and that there's a lack of transparency. There were rumors that the party was $100,000 in debt at the start of the convention, and then it later came out that it might be $600,000 in debt. This in spite of the fact that the chairman continued to say that the party was in good shape financially. But hey, we did have an elephant. So, the new chairman, Dorinda Randall, her platform is focused on party organization and growth. This is actually something I've been talking about for quite a while now, if you've been watching my other videos, that we lack any kind of good organization on the ground around the state, including in Montgomery County, and we have no plan for growth right now, at least by appearances. Her focus is grassroots infrastructure, especially training and support for precinct chairs and county organizations. She's also talking about growth and engagement, expanding the Grassroots Club. If you donate to the party, this is one of the vehicles you can do that. You can donate as a monthly donor, as well as youth outreach. All of these sound really good. She's also talking about party financial transparency and accountability, which is sorely needed. It's all a lot of good words. The question now is, can she implement it, and can she bring the party to a state that it has enough money to actually enact her agenda of growth and engagement. We have new legislative priorities. The body voted in convention, and these are the 8 legislative priorities that won out in the election. First one, secure Texas elections, full integrity from registration to count. Stop Islamification of Texas, protecting our culture and values. Eliminate property taxes, a huge win for homeowners. I actually plan to do a video. I attended a town hall recently with Governor Abbott, and he laid out some of the things that he wants to do for property taxes in the next legislative session. Keep an eye out and make sure you watch that video. Like and subscribe, and it'll pop up in your feed. Number 4 on the legislative priorities, ban taxpayer-funded lobbying. Stop government using your money against you. Sounds good. There are some questions about that one on the First Amendment. But overall, good thing. 5, protect Texas kids from sexualization and overreach. 6, secure Texas grid, water, energy, agriculture, and property sovereignty. There were actually a couple of attempts to change the platform that would have kind of violated property rights. Thankfully, we killed most of that on the floor. I spoke out against some of those moves. Number 7, end government overreach. Kind of broad. Generally agree with that. Number 8, education reform, parental rights, and real choice. The party seems to be behind, for the most part, the education reform that took place last legislative session, and they want to expand the ESAs, or education savings accounts. We also had rules and platform updates. The rules, 2 of the main rule changes, they want to require video recording of SREC meetings, and they want to preserve convention records, videos and photos and things. They want to make them available online so that people can go back and look what happened. I highly recommend you do. There were some very interesting things that happened at convention. Platform. There are some changes to the platform, protections for private property rights and privacy rights. Educational freedom, they expanded the sections on educational freedom and definitions around that. There was also some rather controversial moves that I'm not generally in favor of. The move to ban IVF. The language fortunately does allow for regulating IVF instead of just an outright ban, but there were many present who wanted to outright ban IVF. I think that's a terrible idea. And there was also a move to change language around the criminalization of abortions. I think that there needs to be a really serious discussion about this. I think that the folks that are behind some of this language don't fully understand the implications of it, and I think we need to be very careful about how we proceed with this in the future, and whatever legislation actually comes out to support it. And of course, they talked about closed primaries again. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know I've talked about this at length. The party continues to push for closed primaries. Closing the primaries requires the Texas legislature to change the Texas Election Code, or the TEC. I've made this abundantly clear. I've shown this multiple ways to multiple people. I've made videos about it. I'm going to continue to speak about it. One of my problems with where we're at right now is that the party has filed a lawsuit against the Secretary of State asking her to override or ignore the TEC, which is illegal as far as I understand it. I'm not a lawyer. The Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, joined the lawsuit on the side of the party. So if you're a donor to the party, you're donating money to fund a lawsuit asking the Secretary of State to possibly violate the law. And if you're a taxpayer in the state of Texas, you're paying the Secretary of State to fund fighting a lawsuit so that she doesn't violate the law. She's now stepping down, and we're going to get a new Attorney General and Secretary of State in the future here. So it looks like there's going to be some interesting things that happen with this. The governor has called now to close the primaries as well, and he actually called for it in a smart way, I think, because he said that it needs to be done through the legislature, which has been my point for quite a bit of time now. Hopefully we can get this sorted out and do something rational and not follow the RPT's previously published plan, which was absolutely terrible. Please watch my video if you want to know more about that. I'll link my video below so that you can watch it. Calls for unity. The governor, the lieutenant governor, and the House Speaker, which this was a historic convention because all 3 of them spoke to this convention. That hasn't happened in a long time. They all call for unity in November. November general elections are coming. We face a very energized Democrat Party. Very well funded, very well organized. Their turnout in the primary was concerning. Our turnout in the primary was also concerning in the wrong way because we were very low. We have very low attendance at our convention. There's not a lot of excitement going into November, unfortunately. That's not good for the November election. The governor introduced his slogan, "Unity drives victory." Sounds great. Governor Abbott is facing a minority opposition from a small faction of folks that appear to be trying to support an independent candidate. I think that's ridiculous, and I think that they should probably move on if that's what they want to do. Obviously, they have the right to their own opinion and free speech, but I think we need to get behind the governor. I think he's going to win in November. There's other candidates and there's other seats that I think are going to be a lot closer that we have to be a lot more concerned with. One of those is going to be Ken Paxton against James Tallarico. Speaker Burrows spoke, the Speaker of the House. There was, if you remember the videos about the very contentious House Speaker election, he was greeted with boos and rude comments. This is incredibly ironic after all the calls for unity and the fact that every elected official up to this point, including the Lieutenant Governor and the Governor, and our chairman, new and outgoing, all touted our legislative victories in the last session, which were brought about in large part by Speaker Burrows. So it's going to be really hard to unify this party, I think, because there are still a lot of people who have hurt feelings and can't seem to get past them. And the fact that we are winning things statewide, and we have a Republican majority right now, but it's not guaranteed, and we actually need to unify behind our Republican candidates in order for them to win the November election and keep the Republican seats we have. So there you have it. That's the 2026 RPT Convention in summary. Low attendance, low energy, 4,000 delegates. We have a new chairman and new vice chair. We have some new legislative priorities. Many of them are very similar to what we had before. We have some updates to the rules and platform. We have some more talk about closing the primaries. And of course, unity drives victory. I really do hope that we can unite as Republicans. I think we've got some headwinds against us. I think we have a lot of work to do. I hope that Dorinda Randall is successful in her agenda. I think that she has a good strategy. I think implementing that strategy is going to be a real challenge for us. And we absolutely have to come together, support her, support all of our Republican candidates in the general election in November, and get out the vote. Thank you. Please like and subscribe so you get more updates and you see my videos as they pop up. Post your comments. I always want to hear your feedback. God bless you. God bless Texas, and God bless the United States of America. Remember, it's America's 250th, so get involved with your local parades and come out and celebrate our Declaration of Independence. I'm Scott Baker for Truth and Liberty.